Ladies and gentlemen, welcome down under the mat. We are here in Madison Square Garage around the pool table of relevancy. This is Dan Danielson. I am Roddy Reese, and we're here to do our review of WWE's Bash in Berlin. Dan, how are you feeling today?
Pretty good. I can't remember the German chants, so I'm going to have to look those up as we're recording the show. Because it wasn't Rammstein lyrics. I was kind of hoping it was just going to be du hast mich, and I'd be like, oh, I know what that is.
Yeah.
It was not that. So, but in general, look, solid pay-per-view.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
4 hours-ish, nearly, I think, or 3 hours. I don't know.
I think it was like just over 3. Because like we looked at the time, we turned on the stream because we didn't watch it live, of course.
Because it was 1
at,
a.m.
Yeah, 1 a.m. for Australians, so... Left it late, turned it on, 7-hour stream, and we're like, 2-hour pre-show, so that's all right. And we're like, wow, 5 hours for a pay-per-view.
Yeah, and then there's the hour post-show, which was included. So
I trimmed it down quite a bit.
But 5 matches is the Triple H current sort of...
That's the shtick.
Shtick for his, I guess, non-A-level pay-per-views, as he likes to have the short and formed. And it meant every match had time to breathe.
Yeah.
Every match had its own sort of time to shine on the card itself. Then there was decent video packages and stuff leading into each of the matches. Yep. Nothing felt rushed. It all felt like timed well.
Yeah, very well paced.
And if you watched our All In London pay-per-view review from last week,
which is on YouTube.
It's on YouTube. Go have a look at it. One of our comments, one of mine specifically, was that it just felt like it was just match with nothing in between. And although this also had no backstage segments, no outside interaction and things like that, it had a lot of stuff from the commentators and a lot of video packages that sort of kept stories flowing throughout the whole night.
Gave you that bit of breathing space and a bit of like rest time to take a toilet break.
Yeah, because I mean, with only 5 matches on the card, there's not really a toilet break spot.
No.
In that sense. So it was interesting. I liked the pacing of this card, and I liked the fact that they started off with the Cody and KO match.
Yeah. I think it was a very good choice to kick it off.
I think you commented, is this the first time that Cody hasn't main evented a pay-per-view since WrestleMania?
I think so.
Because he's always finished with Cody.
Yep. Because he's been bloodline related stuff. So.
Yeah, which is generally the last thing. So this was a good start, I reckon.
Actually, I just remembered the 6-man tag that they did against the Bloodline with Randy and KO.
That wasn't
not the main event. So we just
where was that though?
That was France, wasn't it?
No, France was Cody and AJ.
What was after France? Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it would have been that.
But then what was the main event of Money in the Bank? Was that Damien and? I don't know. You talk for a little bit while I Google some main the cards.
All right.
I need us to be correct on this.
Cody and KO kicking it off. I was pretty surprised. I'm not going to lie. It's a very odd sort of situation to have Cody kicking off a show. He very much feels like the main event star, but being in Berlin, not technically.
Main event of Money in the Bank was the Bloodline six-man tag.
Oh.
Solo, Jacob, and Tonga with Cody, Kevin, and Randy. That was the main event. What else have we had? SummerSlam, he was the main event.
Yep.
Backlash, he was the main event.
Yep. That was it.
Clash at the Castle. Was he the main event?
No, he wasn't.
Are we sure?
There we go. No, that was Drew. Drew and Priest was the main event.
At Clash in the Castle 2024.
Yeah.
In Scotland.
Well,
I mean, Drew's on the poster, so you really hope he was.
Yeah.
And it was. You're correct.
Okay, there we go.
So there's the one.
There we go.
We found it. We did it. Well done.
Yeah. No, I really liked this kicking off the show. I thought the way they kicked the story off, like match-wise, was very good because being close friends as they're portraying at the moment, there's a lot of history there. They know each other very well, and they really played off that. Yep. Cody would go for a Cody cutter. KO would block it. KO would go for a pop-up powerbomb. Cody would block it. So they knew the spots, knew what the other was thinking, and they were able to reverse it, block it, make sure the other one wasn't able to capitalize with those big, impactful moves. So that part of it was very nice storytelling. One thing I thought was very interesting, though, in the promo in the lead-up on SmackDown, we got Kevin Owens mention that Cody Rhodes' knee is not at 100% because of the tour they've been doing at the moment. And Cody's like, nah, I'm fine. Knee's fine. 100%. Don't you worry about it. I was surprised it took them that long to bring that into the story in the match.
Yeah, and I think, like I was saying to you when we were watching it, that was what I wouldn't say took me out of the match, but I wasn't as invested because Cody was always winning, right?
Yeah.
There was no point, unfortunately, in this that KO was going to win this title.
No.
And the really terrible fact to that is that now this is the 10th world title match in a row that Kevin Owens has lost.
That's,
He has
I
not held
don't
a
like that stat, dude.
He hasn't held a singles title in over 7 years in
don't like that
WWE.
stat.
Like that's rough. And I mean, I love KO. Clearly, I'm wearing the KO shirt.
Yeah.
But that was kind of why I wasn't as invested in it. I was like, look, this is a good match. They're going to be two good workers.
Yeah.
They're going to be mates. But then once they teased that storyline of the knee, and once KO then decided, I can't take it out with it, and then Cody was like, I'm all right. And KO's like, all right, fine, screw it. Bang. Takes the knee out. I was like, all right, I'm in.
Yeah.
Now you've got me into a story for this match. Because before,
Absolutely.
I didn't feel like there was a story. It was a good match on a pay-per-view that you're going to get a 3.5, 4-star wrestling match out of it. Everyone's going to be keen. And it just means that we know that Solo and Jacob Fatu can't travel to Germany. So let's do something else for Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
But then when they weave that little bit of story in towards the end of the match, I quite like that.
Yeah.
And that definitely got me more invested.
Absolutely. Definitely got us more invested. And I think that was definitely Kevin's downfall as well. Because as soon as Cody went to do that springboard from the top and do the Cody cutter,
Yeah.
and he fell down because his knee was hurt, Kevin failed to capitalize straight away.
Wade Barrett made sure he heard about it.
He waited, he told the ref to check on him. Cody's like, yep, I'm fine. And then that's when Kevin struck, but he still wasn't able to overcome his demons, essentially. He wasn't able to execute that pop-up
Were they the
power bomb
demons in
on
his
the
dreams?
apron. That pop-up power bomb on the apron.
Because that's what he turned on Sammy with.
Yeah,
And
that would have been the turning point in the match, and Kevin just couldn't bring himself to do it. Ended up being his downfall. And I think what we were both pretty annoyed about was the actual finish of this match, because in a typical Cody Rhodes match, you got to hit multiple crossroads to win a match. Other than that one time this year that he actually just hit one.
Yeah. It's 2 or it's 3 or
So
whatever.
he hit one.
Well, he hit 2 and then he
KO
kicked out.
reversed it. Then later
Originally.
on he hit 2. KO reversed it into the stunner.
Yep.
And then in the lead up, Kevin Owens went for the Swanton bomb. Cody got the knees up. He hit the crossroads. And then he won.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, the finish for me felt flat. I agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look, it was the right finish. I guess the story that you tell again is that KO didn't take his advantages when he had them.
Yeah.
He made a mistake on the Swanton. Cody took advantage of that and finished the match.
Yeah.
That's why he's your champion. I think the work rate in this was good. I love the fact that Cody started doing some submissions that we haven't seen him do.
Yeah, that was one note that I took, the leg arm scissor that he did.
Yep.
I've never seen a submission like that before.
It's a UFC one, I think.
Yeah. Maybe
Arm
that's just me
splicer?
being uneducated.
I think they called it. It's an arm splicer, but
Yeah, that's great.
that was cool.
Great Cody bringing new moves into it. It's not the first time we saw a new move in this pay-per-view, which
We'll get
if
to
you know
that.
anything about me, I absolutely love seeing new innovative moves that I've never seen before. Pumped.
I think the thing we want to touch on, which we said at the start, was around the crowd and how loud they were.
Yeah, absolutely.
The chanting for the woes. I'm sure Santi's app probably gave them a 10 out of 10 because they were pretty loud on this.
But production did pump up the volume.
Oh,
of
they
that. Just a smidge.
The chants. I've got the
Oh, that's good. Good.
I don't have the German for it, but they were chanting essentially "Welcome to Berlin" at the start, which was the chants as they were coming out, and "In Your Face" was the chant that they were doing all the time. And I found it on Reddit, and I'll have to find it again. Just let me bring that one
punch
back up.
him in the face, wasn't it?
Essentially, what they're saying is punch his face. Someone said it's probably translates closer to like when you would say like "right in the kisser." Like that's kind of the same way you would be
righto,
saying.
That makes sense.
That's what the chant was. But
Yeah,
when you
okay.
translate it German to English, it comes across as punch in the face.
Okay, yeah. Things are always lost in translation.
Yeah, correct. So that was what that chant was. And that was obviously why the crowd was so loud throughout all of this. Auf der Fresse
Okay.
is what it is. Auf der Fresse? I don't know. Thanks. Anyone in German in the comments, tell me how idiotic I am and how badly
der
I'm
Fresse.
butchering that for you. But yeah, it roughly translated as a punch in the face. And that was kind of what they were chanting all night long.
Cool. Yeah. Gotta love those European crowds. Like, as soon as I started SmackDown yesterday, I was like, yeah, we're in for another France type sort of crowd, and I was not disappointed at all.
Yeah.
Didn't quite have the same pizzazz as the whole
Camera shaking.
supplemento and
That was
the
fun.
phenomenal la la la.
It's back. It's back. We'll never let that one go. Next match was the women's tag.
Women's tag, and it was a women's
How long
tag.
did it have? Because it got so Cody.
It got longer than we suspected.
yes. So Cody KO was 23 minutes.
Okay, yeah,
Which
pretty
is about
standard
right.
I think for a world title match, that's a good time frame, even as a kickoff match.
Yep.
Good time frame.
But like we said, of that, the first 16, 17 minutes was fine, and then the last
yeah.
5 to 10 was when we got the story.
That was when you hit your go home and storyline.
The comment that I wanted to make around the women's tag match that felt weird to me was this was the first time that Jade came out with her
Didn't-
entrance
Yeah.
and
Didn't
went
wait.
all the way to the ring.
Yeah.
It seemed like this was the presentation of two singles wrestlers as a tag team again, rather than a tag team.
Yeah.
Although they had matching gear, matching hair, all that kind of stuff, it just didn't sit. It was different. Why did Jade
I
walk
wonder
out?
what was different. Like, what made that decision happen?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a mystery.
In hindsight, I really like the entrance music and video of Alba Fire and Isla Dawn.
Yeah.
I love the way that
it's one of the very few decent Death Rebel themes going around at the moment.
Look, let's not give them any more credit than they need.
Well, I'll give them a small quarter of respect.
It's not so much even the music; it's the way that it's like the dark lights are all off and everything, and then it hits with the flames, and then the screens come up behind them.
Yeah, and it's all like really nice dark red lighting in the crowd.
It's a great entrance.
It's very atmospheric, and I like it.
Shame we'll never see it again because they're not going to be on TV anymore because they got squashed essentially
Well,
towards
they
the
didn't
end.
get squashed. I don't know about that. They didn't get squashed like another
they-
champion.
They didn't
tonight.
get squashed, but look, it was a solid match.
Yeah.
You said from the start that it was always going to be that Bianca and Jay were going to win it again. I thought they wouldn't because I think they're going to try and keep them as singles wrestlers, but no, they're going to put the titles on them.
Yeah. I think it's just interesting to see how this storyline is going to move forward because we're all expecting that Jade and Bianca feud
At some point. Yep.
I think WrestleMania is a great time for it to reach its crescendo. It's just,
I think it's WrestleMania next year.
oh, so
next
42.
Yeah, I don't think this
Okay.
WrestleMania you should have them face each other.
Well, maybe like we suspected when they won the tag titles initially, this is where you start that dominant run then.
yeah.
You have them just walk through everyone in all three rosters.
Yep. I think they've
demolish
already been announced for Raw, so yeah, wouldn't surprise me. Interesting stuff around Alba Fire was a lot of her wrestling in Europe was through West Side Extreme Wrestling in Germany,
Woo!
which they called out. So they had obviously a decent pop for them being European girls.
Yeah.
They had some good tag team moves together. I do like some of the stuff they did.
I really like that finish.
Cole calling the backstabber a code breaker. Got that one wrong.
Go on,
Sorry,
Mike.
Cole.
I got to cut him some slack. It's going to be a stressful job trying to call everything correctly.
Oh, absolutely. But in general, I think that they put on a good performance. Yes, they got beat fairly convincingly, and they really did nothing on this tag run.
Yeah, and like that's the thing. Like, unfortunately, the women's tag titles have never really been booked the best. And as soon as Alba Fire and Isla Dawn won those titles at Clash, everyone suspected, oh, that's just to have one of the few Scottish homegrown talents
The
go
pop at
over.
home, yeah, because it wasn't Piper and it wasn't Drew.
Because, like, yeah, Piper wasn't going to dethrone Bailey yet. That was Nia's job. Drew, as much as we would have loved to have Drew win that title, the story with Punk was the focus
It
of
worked
that.
out. Yep.
So it worked out for the better. Like, there was no better opportunity for WWE to have homegrown talent go over than the women tag title. But yeah, it's just, they've never been booked fantastic since their inception.
The one thing that I think that has been booked well, or at least they're trying to book very consistently, is Jade Cargill.
Yes.
And
She's
Wade
getting the hot tag every match.
Correct.
She's getting the pin.
Yep.
The majority of the time as well.
And Wade Barrett said on commentary for this was that with Cargill on the apron, saying that the least experienced competitor was the one on the outside the most, having to learn the strategy to finish the match.
Yeah.
because everybody else is in there doing their moves and stuff. So she has the most time to think about what to do.
Yeah. Okay.
Which I think is a very different way of looking at her, right? Because
Yeah.
you think of her as, like you said, she comes in, hits her big spots, and finishes.
Yeah.
But when you think of her as the least experienced person, she's then sitting there watching Bianca, who's probably the best. Let's be fair, she's the best worker in the women's division.
Yep.
It'd be hard to sort of really argue against that. You get to watch her against these two other girls that are really good workers as well. The more that she's watching, the more that she's learning, the better that she gets.
Yeah.
And I think long term, this will help Jade out.
Absolutely.
But like you said, I hope they just destroy through the roster, because otherwise I don't care about these tag titles whatsoever. At all.
That's unfortunate.
I don't care.
Yeah. Moving on.
What was the next match?
It was the strap match, mate.
It was.
The strap match, which I'll let you take the reins on this one. Kick it off, Dan.
You want me to kick it off? We've obviously got Mr. Charles Montgomery Punk over the title here.
Love it.
No, not
Simpsons reference.
He's not Chicago made or a chick magnet. He could be all of them. Anyway, I'm going to shit all over the concept of a strap match, because this is the dumbest match ever. Maybe not ever. Maybe I'm going a bit too hard. I hate this idea. So the premise, for those of you that don't quite understand and maybe didn't watch it, and you're watching our podcast before you watch the main event, first of all,
Which is like,
why would you do that?
Yeah, what's wrong with you? Second of all, thank you.
Thanks,
If that's
appreciate
the
it.
case.
Love your support.
Love it.
Come chat to us on Discord and tell us how stupid and wrong I am. But the idea of it is that you have to touch all four corners, right, in a row
In
without
succession.
being interrupted by your opponent. So Cole made a very clear point throughout this entire match, was that if you touched one turnbuckle and then the second turnbuckle and then, Drew suplexed Punk, he's broken his momentum, we've reset back to zero. I don't think that's how it works. I think you've still got to just touch all four in a row. So that, to me, dumb. Second point, you made the comparison to the previous strap match with Eddie Guerrero and JBL.
There
a
have
while
been
ago,
ones since.
There's
but
obviously been
this
others,
is the most impactful one in my memory.
where essentially they played this spot in this match
did.
where had him on his shoulders. So Drew had Punk up on his shoulders, and Drew went and touched the turnbuckle, and
Then
Punk
Punk
touched
did
it
too.
right behind him. And then Drew touched the next one, Punk touched the next one, and then the third one. And now my logic to why this is stupid is, if you're saying that you have to touch all four turnbuckles in a row, uninterrupted from your opponent to win the match. Soon as Drew touches this turnbuckle and then walks to the next one and Punk touches that turnbuckle, guess what? We've restarted, because now Punk is touching them in a row, not Drew. So then Drew touches the next one and you're like, well, that's reset it, because now Punk hasn't touched two in a row. Drew's touched the second one. And then Punk touches the second one, and then it's back to Punk again. But that's not the logic that this match has.
No.
I don't understand it. It's so stupid. For a match that is meant to be a brutal blood feud between two guys who hate each other,
Touching turnbuckles.
touching
is a bit
turnbuckles
rough.
like that makes it look so stupid, because strap them together, they can't escape. Punk got a bit of colour and a bit of blood early in the match. They were beating each other up heavily. There was so many go-to-sleeps. There was plenty of claymores. There was table spots. It was the match that we wanted, but it got ruined by the fact that they were touching goddamn turnbuckles and looking like freaking idiots. End rant.
I don't really have anything to add to that. It's a good rant. Like, you make a solid point. I feel like I was a lot younger when I saw that Eddie Guerrero JBL match, and I feel like I was a lot more naive in terms of like, I wasn't a smart mark. Let's just say that. I wasn't a mark when I was like 15 or whatever, whenever that match happened.
Yeah.
Being an adult is thinking about things more logically. The match itself was good. I think the touching turnbuckles aspect it's not great. Look, they could have just had a dog collar type match where they're just strapped together and just
Great.
beat the shit out of each other. I feel like that would have been better, would have had a lot more impact than. And then playing off that they're too tired to just take 5 steps and touch a turnbuckle after hitting Drew with a GTS and touching a turnbuckle, hitting another GTS. Like,
And the
if you
strap
got
was...
enough if you got enough effort to do a GTS, touching that turnbuckle should be no worry.
Yeah, absolutely. And the strap itself was long enough that you saw that he laid Drew out on one side of the ring and he could
could get
reach
to the other.
the far turnbuckle. So That didn't make sense. I think the only way that this stipulation would work in a match is if you have them beat the absolute piss out of each other.
Yep.
And then you just pick someone on your shoulders and you walk them around the ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, match is over. That's it. Anytime you try and do he might win, he's got 1, he's got 2, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I think that takes us out of it. I want to shout out Michael Cole for this, for some of his commentary points that he made. Obviously bringing up the fact that CM Punk has had 2 previous strap matches in WWE, one in OVW.
Yep.
And the last one that he had was against the late Umaga,
Yep.
which he won. And then later in the night from that match, he actually cashed in a Money in the Bank on Jeff Hardy.
Oh.
So CM Punk is now 3 of 3 for strap matches, and it's probably one of his favorite matches in WWE.
Yeah.
That's quite
He won that dog collar match, didn't he? Or was that MJF that won that? Because they're essentially the same match.
Look, it's kind of the same
Take out
thing.
the turnbuckle nonsense. They're essentially the same match.
The other point to this match that I liked was once Drew pulled out the bracelet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we knew this was going to be a focal point at Summit. It's a strap match. It's around your wrists. Like, it all ties in. It makes sense. Punk saw it, I feel, but instead of costing himself like he did at SummerSlam, he saw the bracelet and went, nah, pick him up, GTS, turnbuckle, pick him up, GTS, turnbuckle, and now I'll take the bracelet.
Yeah.
Now I've won. Now I'm not going to cost myself
Give him a
stupid.
third GTS too.
Then another GTS and the 4th turnbuckle.
Yeah. Very triumphant.
Absolutely. And you look, Drew won at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Drew injured him in the Royal Rumble. So that started everything. Punk's cost him several times. Drew won at SummerSlam. Punk's won here. We're going to Bad Blood in a Hell in a Cell match, aren't we?
Yeah. Or a cage. Part of me just doesn't want that stupid reporter to get his wish. I know he wanted the feud to kick off in a Hell in a Cell, but the fact that he might get that match in his prediction at all, I hope it just doesn't happen.
I think it'll happen. I think it will. I did like the table spot with this too.
Yeah, just like dumping CM Punk over the top. Loved it.
But also how that impacted Drew.
Yeah.
Knowing that he has to walk around the ring. Punk's been thrown outside through a table. Shit, I've got to get him back in.
Over the top rope as well.
Yeah, I think that was sort of smart booking for it. And I also really liked the that Punk used the sharpshooter.
Yeah.
To the point
he
of-
did a very well executed sharpshooter as well. It looked fantastic.
And it was to the point he made him pass out.
Yeah. One thing I do want to mention, the post show that happened after Bash in Berlin concluded, they showed Kathy Kelly interviewed CM Punk, which was just after the match had happened, and they just showed the footage later. She asked CM Punk how it feels to have that bracelet back and to get that victory over Drew McIntyre, and he essentially said, I'm pretty much done with Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, he's not done.
Yeah, absolutely not. He's not done. I would suspect that Punk's going to come out, have a big rah-rah speech. I won. I'm done. Let's move on to the next thing. And then Drew McIntyre will attack Punk on Raw.
Yep.
And then that's where you build to Hell in a Cell starts.
Yep, I agree. And then we move into the mixed tag match.
Which I think was my favorite match of the night.
I think so. I think it's the most fun.
Yeah, definitely the most entertaining.
The Terror Twins against the Judgment Day, Dom and Liv.
Yeah.
Look, lots of really fun spots here. I like the fact that they played off on the mixed tag rules, that, woman versus woman, man versus man, so that every time Liv went out, and then Damien would be like, not Damien, Dom would be like, okay, look after you, all right, okay. Turn around, it's Priest, fuck, I'm dead. And like the amount of times like Mummy or Rhea would want to get her hands on Dom, but she wasn't allowed to.
Yeah.
The spot I think that I liked a lot with that was when Dom tagged for Liv early, and Liv went face to face with Damien. And I say face to face, I'm more like face to stomach. But she then couldn't see behind Priest because he was so much bigger, and Priest just moves and Rhea just bang.
Right, at first, he just like
He's like
talked to the hand, moves, and then, the massive drop kick from Mummy.
Yeah, that was
Great
a fun spot.
Loved it.
Look, the Terror Twins are going to sell so much merch for WWE.
Yeah.
They are
They've
so
officially
over.
got their own shirt together, which is fantastic.
A lot of distractions for this, a lot of fun spots.
Yeah.
You want to talk about what we now believe should be Liv Morgan's new finishing move.
Oh, absolutely. So, I don't even know where to begin. Liv got Rhea Ripley in an abdominal
stretch.
stretch. Jeez,
Leading to a
why
pump
was that
handle
so
slam.
hard?
Yeah.
Leading to like a pump handle slam, but ended up doing like a pop rocks Canadian Destroyer type flip over into a pin.
That was sick.
That needs to be finished.
Yeah.
Moving forward.
I love that.
Innovation. Love it, folks. It's fantastic.
Positives. I think one of the loudest pops for the entire night, I think, was when Rhea got her hands on Dom and put him in that head scissors in the corner.
Yeah.
That was loud.
Massive.
And then obviously the match was all well and good until we knew Judgment Day were going to come out, and they did. And then there was lots of different spots with, JD McDonough asking Rhea to sort of hit me and getting distracted. Dom got a 619 and a splash and a very close near fall on Damien.
Earlier in the week, I suspected that Dom and Liv might actually pick up the victory, but the more I thought about it, the more I thought if Priest and Rhea don't win, then how does that further this feud?
Yeah.
Because Priest lost the title at SummerSlam. Rhea failed to beat Liv for the title. We've now got this. If they failed to win here, how could you keep that moving? And I thought about that and I was like, that's not happening. Rhea and Damien have to win this. And in that split second, after Dom hit that splash, I thought, shit, I was wrong.
Maybe they are going to win.
Yeah.
I think this moves obviously to Finn and Damien.
Definitely.
Which is probably what we want to see, because obviously there was a lot of the interaction from them as suitors that they ran out and he hit the sling blade. That's what led to Dom almost getting that 3 count. Yeah. My gripe with the finish for this match, and although it was fine, it just made Judgment Day look dumb again, that there's a 4-5-on-2 and they lost.
Yeah.
That look is poor. And we said this last time, that when they finished Raw standing on top, finally, that's what they needed to do. It makes the heels look silly that you've got a massive numbers advantage and you just can't take advantage of it. So that was a annoying part to it. The second annoying part to me was Rhea destroying Liv in the finish.
Yeah.
And Liv looked stupid in the fact that she was against the ropes and Damien just threw Dom over the table, announce table, stood up the top and then just sort of pointed. And Liv kind of got up really quietly and was like, oh, she's behind me, isn't she? And as she just turned, Rhea just headbutt, riptide,
pin.
Pretzel pin, she's now calling it. We saw that on the post show. What did Damien call it?
The take it easy.
The take it easy pin. Settle down. Hey, whoa.
Hey, take it easy. Yeah.
But that was, to me, was a bit, look, I know I love Mummy, we all do.
Yeah.
And she's going to win her title back. But
Yeah.
I think that your women's champion shouldn't be buried that quickly and that easily in a pin.
There's no reason to protect Dom and not have him eat that pin for the win.
Yep, it should have been Dom.
Yeah.
And I would, to be fair, I would have preferred Mummy to do that to Dom and then Damien cover him.
Yeah. Or have him hit both finishes at the same time. Like, that wouldn't have been as bad because technically Priest is getting the pin.
The problem now is that yes, we know we're going to go to Bad Blood. We're going to go to Rhea versus Liv. But what gives you any inkling that Liv wins?
Yeah.
Because Rhea destroyed her in this match. She's destroyed her the whole feud through. She never lost the title. She had to relinquish the title for injury.
Because
I get that you're booking her strong, but you're not helping Liv out at all.
Yeah. No.
That's my problem with it.
Yeah. This whole title run has been an opportunity to give Liv some much deserved flowers as well. Because after that title win from Ronda Rousey a couple of years back, she's not been up at that level since then.
No.
And this was the opportunity to put her back at that level and show her that she can do it.
And I think she has.
Yeah.
She hasn't looked out of place in her matches with Becky and her matches with Rhea. And like, she has absolutely been a women's champion. And then she just, it was just a bit too dominant.
Takes a bit of steam out of her run, which is unfortunate.
And then we get to the main event race.
Main event. Gee,
35 minutes.
Wasn't it a main event? It was long.
The pop for Gunther, fantastic.
Yep, great.
The pop for Randy, fantastic. Obviously, they sing your song out like they always do.
The shot of Samantha Irvin about to announce Gunther and then the hand.
Give me the microphone. Oh, Kaiser.
Ludwig Kaiser.
Because obviously he wasn't booked on the pay-per-view, but he did show up for the open challenge on SmackDown.
Yeah, which was, like, makes the most sense. I was thinking all week, like, who's it going to be? And it wasn't until it happened, I was like, oh, it's so obvious. Like, of course it was going to be Ludwig.
Kaiser
His
against
home
LA
country.
Knight. His introduction to Gunther was superb as always.
Absolutely.
The crowd was right behind it. They were really, really loud for this match. But I think, like I was talking to you when we were watching this, I love Gunther. I think last year we voted him as our favourite wrestler of the year.
Yep.
I love Randy Orton. He has been brilliant for the last 25 years in the ring. But I think I love each of them separately.
Yeah.
I don't love them together. The King of the Ring match was fine, but it was kind of like it wasn't the main event and it wasn't the focal point of that pay-per-view per se. And I think both of these guys are big, bruising dudes that they're slow-paced, dominant wrestlers, and they work best when they are against an Ilya or a Sammy or a KO that can bump and move and throw them around and change the pace.
Yeah.
Whereas these two guys together,
They're both very similarly paced, and it kind of slowed the match down.
it slowed the match down to the point that the crowd started doing a Mexican wave.
And that was early on in the match too.
And I know Randy then started doing it.
Yeah, it started like
so
having a bit
he
of fun with
acknowledged it, and it was like it was just the crowd's having fun.
I
But the
think
crowd, if they're really invested in what you're doing,
Not
don't
gonna
have
do
the
that.
time to do Mexican waves.
I think I definitely overhyped myself with this match a little bit, expecting like both Randy and Gunther are very well, but as Dan mentioned, both of them together, you just don't get that like those sequences where you have a little high flyer doing big, quick, impactful moves off the top ropes and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Gunther and Randy are both like mat veterans,
Yep.
and it just playing together like that just kind of sucks the air.
A little bit. And they were telling a story throughout the whole match, obviously, of Gunther's arm.
Yeah.
Which was smart, right? You knowing that he can't do his big clotheslines, he can't do his big power bombs, not so
Can't do his chops.
His chops. The early chop when Gunther hit him and Randy just sold him, like, oh, fuck. Like,
Like just took a full back bump.
yeah, like he sold really well for it, and the psychology of the match was great. I just think that we've had a different expectation set to us to what we want to see in the ring lately. And 35 minutes of this was probably a really good story, and it was a very, very good main event. But I feel like people just got a little distracted throughout it.
Yeah,
Because there just
including
wasn't
us.
enough happening. And there was like the spot where he set up the stairs outside next to the German announce table to put Gunther through it.
Yeah.
Great. Like the payoff, superb spot. Obviously, you put Gunther through a table, you're doing it off the top of the stairs. It looks really fantastic. But that was 5 minutes, man.
That was
Like-
a long build up just to get to that one spot.
And both of these guys moving slowly and stuff. It just, it took me out of the match a tiny bit.
Yeah.
But the selling for both the chops, the finish with Randy getting into the sleeper, finding his way out, going for Gunther kicking out of an RKO.
Yeah, that was surprising.
That was pretty crazy. But the continued last probably 2 or 3 minutes of the match was just sleeper hold, Randy working the arm to get out of it, rolling around back into the sleeper hold, back out of it, always going for an RKO. Nope, back into the sleeper hold.
Succumbing.
And like we said when we were watching it, Randy won't tap. Randy Orton does not tap out to people. He doesn't. So for
Did not tap
Gunther
out.
to win by submission by passing out Randy Orton,
Yeah.
I suppose they both get the best of both worlds, right? Gunther
Yeah.
gets the win. Randy never tapped out.
Yep.
Good match. Very good match. Made both of them look strong. At the end of it, they shake hands, sportsmanship, all that kind of stuff.
Sportsmanship.
I think this was the right story to be told. I possibly think at 35 minutes, maybe if you made this 25 minutes.
Yeah, I definitely think it kind of dragged on a little. Like, cut 5-10 minutes off that would have been a great length for it. I feel like the pacing would have been a lot better to keep people vested in that match.
Yeah. And the crowd were all about it. At the end, they were all chanting and cheering and everyone was super happy with it. They were all counting for the counts. I probably would have liked maybe 1 or 2 more near falls towards the end.
Yeah, there weren't many at all.
There was not. There was the RKO spot, and then there was the
powerbomb spot
Yeah, where
from
he
Gunther?
eventually powerbombed him.
Yeah.
And there was one from the splash.
Yeah.
I think that was about it.
Yeah, I don't remember many other pin attempts other than that.
Yeah. That was Bash Berlin.
Yeah. Nice. Quick summary for everyone.
I would rate this pay-per-view 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah, I'd go about 3.
I saw
about
some
3.
reports saying that this is the best pay-per-view WWE's had since WrestleMania.
I feel like that's a bit of a stretch.
Don't
ladies
think
and
so.
gentlemen.
I don't think there was anything wrong with this pay-per-view. Everything went the way that it was predicted. All the right people won the matches.
Correct.
I don't think we needed the tag match. I don't think that was
Super necessary.
that was not pay-per-view. It was good women's tag match.
I think.
And I'm glad that it got on the card, I guess. But also, I would have preferred a couple of other matches instead of that.
I reckon if you had have swapped out LA Knight and that open challenge for the women's tag match. Like swap those two. Have the women's tag match open SmackDown and LA Knight have the open challenge
On the pay-per-view.
on the card. That
Yeah.
pop would have been humongous.
Yeah, that's fair. I also think you should have had Ilya Dragunov on this card somewhere.
Yeah.
Because the whole tour, whilst they've been over in Europe for the week, the house show matches were warming up to this, was Gunther versus Ilya.
And you could tell, like I said that
Yeah,
to
you
Dan.
saw it.
I didn't know. I said it to Dan straight away. I was like, you can tell he's been putting in the work because Gunther's chest up here
Was already
just
red.
like spotty and red already. And I was like, why? And he's like, oh, the whole lead up has been Ilya versus Gunther. I was like, oh, well, that explains it.
Yeah, that would have probably pumped me up to a 4.5 out of 5 for this pay-per-view if we had got that instead.
Yeah.
And I think my only other gripe with this, which I said, was that the strap match premise is dumb.
Yeah.
If you take that away, like you said, if it's a dog collar match or it's just a strap match or an ODQ match, I think that was a very, very fun match.
Yeah. but
Just
the corner aspect.
the corner part just took me out
it
of the.
really sucks it out of it sometimes.
But it did make the finish feel even bigger.
Yeah,
The fact that Drew was out after 3 GTSs and he walked
was
around the
just
entire ring for him.
Yeah.
All right, Bash in Berlin.
Yeah.
Thoughts, feelings?
Get down there. Get on
Let
over
us
to
know.
our TikTok. Get on over to our Discord. Go like and follow us on Instagram. Subscribe. Most importantly, subscribe
Like and
to
subscribe.
our YouTube channel.
Yes.
Yeah, like and subscribe. And comment. Engage. Let's talk.
We love talking wrestling.
We do.
Even-
Probably a little too much because we have a podcast.
There's no such thing as too much. Hey, mate, not everybody needs a podcast, Reese.
Yeah. Don't we know about
So
that?
we've been told. Thanks, everybody.
Yep.
You want to wrap us up? How are we going to finish this one? I don't think we can do the Mason Mansour. We can't do the guns.
No, I don't know.
What do we do? What's a finish for a WWE podcast?
I liked Scissor Me Danny.
Yeah, but that's really not. I mean, as much as I love you scissoring me, that's not really
it.
what we're
He
doing.
loves it. What cool things do WWE people do?
I don't know if there's many hand gestures.
There's not.
Like being really honest.
What's the LA Knight one?
Oh man,
I don't know.
I don't know how to do his hands. Too sweet is the old one.
Yeah, let's too sweet.
We'll finish with too sweet. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Down Under the Mat, this has been our Bash in Berlin review. Like and subscribe. Follow us on all our social media platforms. Engage. Come talk to us. Let us know what you thought of Bash in Berlin. Too sweet, Daniel.
Woo!